All right, guys. So there's a few things that you're gonna need to get started. You're gonna need a very large piece of manila paper, that way it protects the table. You're going to need a clear transparency, that's what we're gonna use to roll our ink out on. You're going to need a tube of ink, a brayer, okay? You're going to need your plate, notice how I've cut mine out. And then obviously you're gonna need paper so that you can print. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze out a very small amount of ink. I want no more than about a 2-inch, like worm size amount of ink, about right there, okay? Less if you're going to use more than one color at the same time. If you are going to use more than one color, then you put them next to each other and you roll them straight so you don't mix them together. Remember, we only want to use colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, otherwise you'll get a muddy brown. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting my ink all rolled out. And I want to go every direction. Your transparency is going to pick up a little bit. That's okay, that's normal. But I don't want to see any glops. If I see lots of glops, then I've got way too much ink. Okay, so once you start hearing that sticky sound, you hear that? That's what you want. Then you know that your brayer is thinly coated, okay? So once I've done that, I'm gonna remove my transparency, okay? Bring back my foam plate, and I'm going to start rolling the ink on my plate. And again, you can go every direction. Now, if your plate is big like mine, I'm probably going to need more ink, which means I'm gonna need to go back to my transparency and pick up some more. But you want to make sure the whole thing is fully coated. You don't want to see any of the white unless it's your lines that you carved. And you just go back and pick up as much ink as you think you're going to need. You want to see a nice even coat. So take your time to make sure that's all there, okay? If you use too little ink, you're not going to get a clean enough print. All right? So now I've done this. Now notice, I am not going to pick up my plate. I'm not going to pick this up. I'm going to bring my paper to my plate. Whoop, I don't need that paper clip there. Goodness. I'm going to bring my paper to my plate because one, is a lot easier. Two, you're going to get finger marks on this if you pick it up. So go ahead and lay it over your plate. Try not to move it around, but you want to add lots of pressure here. Make sure you get the entire surface. Another thing you can try too is printing on different colors of paper. So you can print on construction paper as well. Okay, so I feel like I've gotten this pretty well rubbed in, so now I can pull this back and I can reveal my print. Now you'll notice there are some areas that have some pieces of white speckles in them where the ink didn't get all the way on the print. That's fine, that's part of printmaking. You just want to make sure your whole print doesn't look like this, because if it does, you didn't use enough ink. So keep experimenting, try different colors, different color combinations, different color paper. You're going to be printing for the next 4 days, so you're printing and making as many as you can in these next 4 days. So you're going to have lots and lots of different prints. When you're done, you need to put your name on it and put it on the drying rack, okay, until the next day. But make as many as you can. Have fun.